The Grand Budapest Hotel. When considering films that vividly reflect the influence of architectural art in cinema, The Grand Budapest Hotel takes a prominent place. The masterpiece of a young director, it brings to the world of cinema. Notably, these innovations are intimately tied to the art of architecture itself. The Grand Budapest Hotel, designed as a quintessential example of early 20th century jet-set hotels, encapsulates all facets of Central European architecture, architecture that speak to the soul. In this significant film, one could argue that architecture itself, the movie, which takes viewers through iconic sections of luxury hotels in Karlovy Vary and along the banks of the Danube at Hotel Gelet, weaves a nostalgic and ironic narrative with a surreal language. Throughout the film, the intriguing, satirical, and unparalleled visual potential confronts viewers with life's darker aspects, at times creating a peculiar atmosphere. The contrast between the famous characters and styles that appear everywhere and the old moments resurrected from Mustapha's past life adds truly enchanting effects to the narrative. This central structure implies not only events, characters, and times within the film, but also an eclecticism that constantly manifests itself in spaces and architectural choices. Many buildings and spaces used in the film incorporate motifs from different geographies and eras, creating a unified portrayal of the physical environment within the movie. This, in turn, enhances the film's overall eclectic emphasis through architectural elements. Capturing the visual spectacle conveyed by the Grand Budapest Hotel in words is no easy task. From its red carpets exuding the scent of the 19th century to the transparent skylights that make the space appear even grander, with vaulted ceilings supported by four pillars. In the lobby, where the initial events take place, viewers can spot the surviving Art Nouveau-style Gorlitzer Warenhaus building in the background, a remnant of post-World War II. The fictional Grand Budapest Hotel draws inspiration from European period architecture. The building, originally constructed in 1701 by Burgomaster Demel, was reconstructed in the neo-Baroque style by architects Ferdinand Fellner and Hermann Helmer in 1907. It continues to host guests in the spa town of Karlovy Vary, Czech Republic now. Another building, the Bristol Palace Hotel in Italy, designed by architect Dario Carbone in 1905, served as a reference for the massing and external lines of our fictional hotel. It's safe to say that one of the most visually stunning additions to the virtual Zabrocco atop its hills is the massive and pastoral funicular that transports guests upwards. This funicular, known as Budavari Ciclo, it still operates, connecting Budapest's Clark Square and Székely Bridge to the castle's summit. As this perfect collage flows through the film, elements such as symmetry, light, perspective, and color, commonly used in architectural works, intricately weave themselves into the scenes and times depicted in the film. The almost constant use of fixed or 90-degree rotated camera angles throughout the movie encourages viewers to perceive scenes as if they were looking at an architectural blueprint within a Cartesian grid. In terms of perspective, the film predominantly opts for single vanishing point frames, combined with an obsession for symmetry, forming just a couple of Anderson's signature motifs, among many others. In reality, the director blended real-life structures, cable cars, interior spaces, and architectural details that dominate the film's eclectic flow. While doing so, he ensured a harmony and resemblance between period styles and architectural trends, maintaining chronological consistency. The Grand Budapest Hotel is not just an architectural experiment, but also a narrative of architectural eras. The Grand Budapest Hotel, although a product of pure cinematic imagination, intriguingly draws from tangible architectural elements found in diverse historical eras and actual geographic locations. By seamlessly interweaving these architectural fragments into the tapestry of the film's storytelling, the director not only aligns with the eclectic flow of the narrative, but also successfully blurs the boundaries between fiction and reality. This astute fusion of fictional storytelling with real-world architectural references elevates the film's aesthetic and narrative depth, offering audiences a visually captivating and intellectually stimulating cinematic journey. As Mustafa brings some essential items for Monsieur Gustave outside the prison, they stand before a massive gate with the words Checkpoint 19. This scene introduces us to the historic prison, Castle Osterstein in Zwickau, where revolutionary socialist writer Rosa Luxemburg and writer Karl Marx were once imprisoned. This building, where internal shots of the film were taken, is now used as a museum. Certainly, those who have seen the film must have fallen in love with the famous Mendel's pastry shop, meticulously adorned by Dear Agatha. Yes, this pastry shop is none other than Funz Molkerry, a renowned establishment in Dresden that has been operating since the 19th century. As Deputy Kovacs flees from the pursuing assassin, he enters a museum upon disembarking from the funicular. This museum, where he takes refuge in the midst of this ordinary chase, is another European masterpiece, that Zwinger Museum, built in the Rococo style, which occasionally opened its doors to Saxony's palace festivities in the 18th century, and now houses painted collections and porcelain. It's worth noting that internal filming for the movie took place in this very building. In scenes featuring snowy mountain peaks, we are greeted by the famous Sphinx Observatory in Switzerland, built at an elevation of 11,700 feet above sea level in 1937. From Madame D's mansion to the hotel's magnificent restaurant, from Mouse to Fass wedding scene to the auction hall, each scene features architectural marvels, each representing a different era of European architecture. Wes Anderson brilliantly fortifies his scenes with these massive structures. In summary, Wes Anderson, in his magnum opus, The Grand Budapest Hotel, masterfully combines fragments of the lives of Monsieur Gustave and Mustafa, who lived within the early 20th century jet set, into a unique tapestry of irony and nostalgia. He achieves this by creating a profound artistic AES. Being an audience to this aesthetic will hopefully inspire any architect's imagination.
I love you.
I love you. She was dynamite in the sack, by the way.
She was 84.
I've had older.
This was also when I met Agatha.
She's charming. She's so charming.
Is he flirting with you?
Yes.
I approve of this union.
I became his pupil, and he was to be my counselor and guardian.
The police are here.
Tell them I'll be right down. And you think I did it? You're looking so well, darling. You really are. I don't know what sort of cream they've put on you down at the morgue, but I want some.
This is Madame D's last will and testament. To Monsieur Gustave H. I bequeath the painting known as Boy with Apple.
Wow.
What? Who's Gustave H?
I'm afraid that's me, darling.
If I learn you ever once laid a finger on my mother's body, living or dead.
I go to bed with all my friends.
We need to make a plan for her. She might need a magnifying glass to read it, but it tells you exactly where and how to find Boy with Apple.
I'm a baker.
May I offer any of you inmates a plate of mush?
I want roadblocks at every junction for 50 kilometers. I want rail blocks at every train station for 100 kilometers.
Get in!
I want 50 men and 10 bloodhounds ready in 5 minutes.
You can't arrest him simply because he's a bloody immigrant. Take your hands off my lobby boy! Have you ever been questioned by the authorities?
Yes, on one occasion.
What?
I was arrested and tortured by the rebel militia after the Desert Uprising.
Right. Well, you know the drill.